Give me 1 second, okay, Jason?
Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Jerry needs to get in. Let me invite him. Okay, I sent it to him. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, guys, talk to me. What you got for me? Where we at? Zoom. Okay, guys, talk to me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jason. Sorry,
Yeah. All
I
right,
gotta
cool.
run here.
All right, cool. What you guys got for me?
Who wants to go first? Because I have at least 10 questions. I'm gonna break it apart.
All right, cool. Talk to me, man. What you got, man?
Maybe I should go
here.
first.
Go ahead.
Because I only got 2 questions, that's all.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Sure. My question is just on week 1, because I'm in week 1.
Okay.
So when you're changing directory,
Sure.
so what is the difference between home/Oracle and home/Oracle then home/Oracle and 2/ before Oracle?
There's no such thing as 2 forward slashes before Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Like, hold on. You guys can see my screen, right? You guys can see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can see.
All right, cool. All right, 1 second. All right. Yeah, there's no such thing as two. That's not gonna work. Yeah. What is that?
Oh, okay. So that is
But remember, you keep saying home/Oracle, right? You got to be careful with that, with the way you say that, right? You always have to say /home/Oracle, right? Because never forget that first / that's the root directory, right? That's the mount point, right?
okay.
So don't always say /home/Oracle, right?
Okay.
But just say /home/Oracle, but don't say home/Oracle, right? You know, all
Oh,
the, like, if I do /A/D/F, like all these extra dashes right here,
yeah.
here, they don't mean anything. What does matter is this guy, the first /. Hold on, let me increase the view. Zoom out. That first / matters, right? Because that's the mount point. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's no double /home/Oracle.
Okay. Thanks. And my second question is, what does -P means in mkdir-P?
Yeah, sure. So if I clear my screen and let me do all this. Let me see. Remove space minus. Okay. All right. So mkdir is simple, right? So if I just want to create a directory called pen, right? Okay, so I've created a directory. So you see pen right there.
Yeah.
All right, pen is right there. Okay.
Okay.
But now, if I go cd and pen, and then I do ls, there's nothing in it, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So now, if I want to create another directory inside pen called inc, mkdir space inc, right? ls.
Oh.
So inc is inside pen, right?
Yes.
If I go back once, right? ls. So you see pen right. You see pen right here, right? So
Yeah.
let me just remove. Let me just remove this again. Let's start all over. So now, if I do the same thing, right? If I do mkdir space pen /inc /pencil, I can do it all in one command, all in one go. But I have to do. Excuse me, guys. I got a cough. All right, but I can do everything all in one go, right?
Oh, okay.
So now when I do ls cd pen ls, you see inc cd inc ls cd pencil, right? ls, nothing in there, right? But pwd, this is where I'm at, right? So all in one command from here. I had nothing before. There was no pen, there was no ink, there was no pencil. But instead of me creating this one, cd into it and then do mkdir ink, cd into it ink and do mkdir pencil, I can just do it all in one command with the /p flag, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll allow me to create subdirectories in a directory. So one directory instead of another, all in one command. It just saves you time, that's all. You don't have to use it, but it saves you time.
Okay. So it's useful when you want to create a lot of directories.
Correct.
And you want to nest.
Correct.
Nest. Okay. Okay.
Correct.
For nesting.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Correct.
Appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. Oh, by the way, did you got your laptop, right? Well, obviously you must have, right?
It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but I was at work.
Okay.
And then the guy said I should go pick it up at UPS. So I gotta go.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. All right, cool.
Thanks a lot.
No problem. And by the way, guys, our new student, he's in Canada, so he's viewing from Canada. So hey, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to be here, guys.
All right, no worries. All right, who's next?
Oh, hi, Jason. How are you?
Who's this?
It's me, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, what's going on, man?
Oh, yeah. Hey, everything is good, man. Is this the new guy you were talking about? You said you have a new student in the group?
He's one of them. Yes, he's one of them. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. So, Jason, I have a question regarding so the issue is with my laptop, right? There are days it doesn't, like, if I issue a command, it doesn't accept it. And then there are days that it works. So how do I like troubleshoot this?
There's no day where Linux is Linux. It'll work. There's no such thing. I saw the video that you sent. It looked fine. Like it was working fine. Like there's no such look, dude. If you create a file, touch black. I don't know. Right? That's a file. ls. Right? Where's black? Black is right here. Right? This is black. The only reason why it's green is because this is just the way I put it. But if it's a directory, it's going to be blue. But if I make a directory and I call it black, right? Okay, black 1, it's going to be blue, bro. It is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Unless because you didn't send a video of it not working. You sent a video of it working.
Yeah. So the first one I did. The first few ones that I did, yeah, those ones were not coming up in black. They were still coming up in blue. And then I did it again. I switched the laptop off and I did it again and then it corrected it.
You got to send me the video. You got to send me a video of it. Okay. because I saw the video of it working fine. So I was like, okay, I can't duplicate this, right? You see what I'm saying? But I've never seen that before. But if it
Okay.
happens again, send a video and then we'll take a look at it.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you this. So on the class,
Yeah.
you were teaching about anytime we have to do the modification to change the modification, we
Yeah.
can only do that in the root user.
No, when you only change the ownership, you can only use that as a root user.
Okay. You remember the one you were teaching me last week, right? The 7521.
Yeah.
So can I do that? Because when I switch over to the root user, I'm not able to, if I issue the command like change mod 752, let's say Jerry directory or file, it doesn't let me do it. But when I'm back in Oracle, it lets me, like, it changes it. Is that correct?
Say that one more time.
Okay, so let's just say I'm changing the modification, right? Let's say I want everybody to read and access a file, right?
Sure.
So I do chmod, and then I issue like 752, and then let's say the directory name is like Jerry, and I enter. If I'm in the root user, it doesn't let me do it. But when I switch back to Oracle, then it does it.
Yeah, because it's simple, right? See, if I do ls space -l, right? See, like, who controls pen? Let me come here. Sorry. One second, guys. Trying to get my mouse to cooperate with me. Can you guys see pen? My mouse not working.
Yes, I can see it.
You can see pen in blue, right? Sorry, my mouse is acting funny. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, but you guys can see pen, right? To the right?
I see pen, yes.
Okay.
I can see.
But now who's the primary user for pen? It's Oracle, right?
Okay,
Yes, it's Oracle.
It's Oracle, right? So it's
In the Oracle group.
yeah, it's Oracle that has the permissions on this file. It's Oracle that has the permission. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Looks like Mr. Moses needs to get in. 1 second. I thought he was in there. Give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing real quick. Invite. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to send out the invite. Okay, yeah. Okay. Looks like Mr. Jerry's in. Okay. All right. 1 second. Okay, so where were we? Let me share the screen again. Sorry, guys. Real quick. Okay, Mr. Jerry's in. I'm sorry, Mr. Moses is in. All right, let me share the screen. Okay, so now, if I okay, let's go to root. Okay, so I do cd/home/Oracle, right? I do ls space minus L. You guys see that, right? Okay. So now if I try to do chain mod 744, all right. Do you see this, Mr. Do you see this? Guys, can you mute your mouth? Okay. Do you hold on? Do you guys see this?
Yes. LS.
Right? Mr. Jerry, do you see this?
Yeah, I see it. I'm
You see
following
it,
you.
right? It's gonna look
Yeah.
when it
Okay.
comes when it
Can
comes
you-
to the when it comes to the root user.
Can you kindly maximize that window?
No, I can't. This is as big as it gets actually,
Oh, okay. Got you.
because it's a VM. So guys, watch this, right? So the root user can do anything on the operating system. Can do anything, right? Because it's the root user, right? It's a super user. But what I'm saying is, if you want to change the ownership, right? If you want to change the ownership of so if you want to change the owner, these are just this right here. These are just the permissions. You see what I'm saying? But these are the ownerships, right, of the directory or the file, right? To change the ownership, now you got to do that as root. See what I'm saying? So if I just want to do change own, then I do root, then o install. All right. So now if I clear and I do ls space minus L, now do you guys see that now the user that controls the directory pen is now root, and the group of people that are inside o install also have permissions on pen, and their permissions are read only. You guys see that? This is just read only. They do not have write access. They do not have execute access, right? But the root user has all access, read, write, and execute. Everybody else that's not part of the root, that's not the root user or part of the o install group, can only read. They cannot write, they cannot execute on this guy, right? So the root user can change the ownership. You see what I'm saying? So now if I want to change this back to what it was, so simple, right? All right, ls, all right, ls space minus L. So you guys see it's back. All right, back to the way it was. Okay, you see that, Mr. Jerry?
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Cool.
Just looking at it.
Cool. What else you got?
So you can do this. You can do this to both a file and a directory, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. So Mr.
I
Okay.
think that's
That's all
I'm
you
sorry,
got,
go ahead.
right? That's all you got, Mr. Jerry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mr. Muhammad, what you got?
There's some delay. Sorry, Jason. Yep. How you doing? I have 10, but I'm gonna break it down to 5.
Okay, cool.
Now, in one of the video, you mentioned how to install a Oracle software. Is it on Windows?
How do you install the Oracle software?
I just caught that on the video, so I already done this. I don't think I remember.
Yeah, the Oracle software is already, you guys already have it, right? But you go to Windows and then you download the Oracle package that you need, right? And then you once you download it, whether it's 11G, 12C, 19, whatever it is, right? You just download it to your regular computer, Windows. Then it's going to come like an RPM, whatever, or it's going to come zipped, right? Just because it's big, it's typically about 3 gigs, typically. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to transfer from your, however way you want to do. You can use WinZip, you can use whatever you want to. You can use WinZip is typically what a lot of people use. You can use a thumb drive, right? So you put it on the thumb drive. Whatever you download on your regular computer, you put it on your thumb drive. right? And then make sure your thumb drive has space. Then you put it into your Linux machine. When you put it to your Linux machine, then you want to copy it from your thumb drive to your tilde, right? Real simple steps. I think I do this in the videos, right? Definitely do it. Especially with 12C. Well, I show you guys how to do it from beginning to end. So anyway, so once you have the zip files on your tilde, just unzip it. Just unzip whatever the name of the file is, press enter. It's just gonna inflate it. All right, it's just gonna inflate it. Now, once it's inflated, then you just run your run installer /run. So it just be /run installer, right? You press enter, then the GUI comes up, start pressing buttons, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
What week is that on? Week 6 or 7?
You shouldn't have to and you shouldn't have to do anything as far as the installation of Oracle until week 8, actually.
Okay, I'm just wondering because if it's first day
So
on the job.
yeah. So basically, once you download the file from Windows and that file is now on your system, when you unzip it, right, it's gonna be the name of the file is gonna be p11 blah 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 .zip, whatever it is, right? So then you just do unzip, then the p whatever it is, whatever the name of it .zip, right? You press enter. Then what happens is, right, there's gonna be a directory called database that's gonna show up right here, right? Then when you do cd database ls, then you're gonna see this executable file. You just do /run installer, right? I'm not gonna press enter, but you press enter, and then what's gonna happen is the GUI is gonna come up where you start pressing buttons. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought I missed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Sorry, can I ask a follow-up question to Mohammed's question?
Sure.
So, before we get to run installer,
Sure.
there's like installation of dependencies and changing the firewall settings and SC Linux configuration and all that. Are you gonna teach us about that?
Say that again. Actually, I just zoned out. Say it again.
So we have to disable the firewall and also change the permission for SC Linux.
Yeah, that's not needed.
Okay, so we don't have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't need all that. Yeah, you don't need all that.
Okay.
You don't need all that.
Yeah, I saw someone doing that. That was why I was asking.
Yeah, you don't need all that. Yeah.
Okay.
In your production environment, yes. On your production environment, yes. Now, when you're because the laptop that you have, right? That's actually an operating. That's when they're actually putting the operating system in initially. It really has nothing to do with Oracle per se. Like when you're the firewalls coming down, SE Linux, yes, I get it. All right.
Okay.
But that's what the Linux guys are gonna do initially on whatever server box. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever server box that they're installing Linux on. That's not something that you have to worry about. Whoever you saw on YouTube, they're just doing that, because they're just doing it, right?
Yeah.
But in a production environment, no. The firewall is already taken down. All that stuff is already taken down for you. You ain't got to worry about that. But the laptop that I gave you, I already did all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Yeah. So in your experience, do you install in a silent mode or do you have to use the GUI if you're in let's say Solaris environment?
No, I just use GUI, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
GUI,
What's a GUI anyway?
GUI is, dude. GUI is GUI is. You guys know what GUI is. You know what GUI is. This is GUI. I didn't set my displays, but anyway, continue. Okay, let's just hopefully something comes up. You know what GUI is. You know what GUI is. You know when you create your database DBCA?
Yeah.
That's GUI, bro.
That is good.
Yeah, graphical user interface. Yeah, that's good.
I got to break it down like that. Okay.
Yeah, graphical user interface. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Can I go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, on your intriguing story, on your very first day on the job, when one of your boss could not start up their database. You said you fixed the listener
Sure,
because she didn't have listener,
sure,
and then you see that they're not having listener on the TNS names.
sure.
And how do you fix the listener? Is it the same thing that you is it LSN control? Is that how you fix it?
Yeah. Let me see.
Maybe how do I ask this the right way?
So when you go to your Oracle Home, let me increase the view so you guys can see. So when you go to Oracle, I don't have my listener configured right now. At least I don't think. Admin, I'm pretty sure it has it. Okay, so, okay, it looks like I may. Okay, so let's cap the TNS names or file. Okay, so this is just my TNS names.org file for me. Let me go to my listener, cat listener. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess on this machine, I guess I did it. Yeah, but this is for Dataguard. But anyway, so your exact question is okay, to control your listener, right? Is you already know how to create your listener, right? With NetCA, right? You got it, right? NetCA is listener is one of the easiest things to create. NetCA, click on listener configuration, hit next 3 times, you're done, right? So you understand the concept of the listener TNS thing, right? Right, Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, it's a delay here. Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Now to control the listener, right? You got to use listener control, LSNRCTL. Let's get the status, right? So it tells you that this is the status, right? So if I do LSNRCTL, LSNRCTL let's start this thing if I have one. Okay. Yeah, maybe I don't have one. All right. Next class, I'll configure a listener for you guys. But anyway, it's just basically three commands: start, stop, status. As a matter of fact, you can do listener help. What is it? Dash help. I can just do this and then just type help. Okay. So it shows you all the different listener activities you can start it, stop it, get the status of it, services, trace, quit, exit, blah, 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 right? So, but for the most part in your careers, the ones that you're going to be using are these 4: reload, status, stop, start, version. I have never used save, config, or spawn. I've never used those, right? But these right here, these 4 up here, yes. And these 2 right here, absolutely, right? These are absolute must, right? So did you have a specific question about your listener, Mr. Mohammed?
No, I was just listening to your story that you fixed the problem in your very first day.
Yeah, the issue was simple, right? When they were trying to do SQL Plus, so normally when you guys come in, you just do SQL Plus /SSDB and you're in the database, right? You can see connected, right? That's not the way it's going to be for regular users, right? Because when you do SQL Plus /SSDB, that assumes that you're actually on the server box. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning you've puttied into the server. You're on the server because the laptop that you have is basically a server, right? So you guys are on the server. Like it's not like your laptop is in DC, but your client machine is at home, and then you're trying to connect in. That's not how that works, right? So with that, if that was your configuration, then you need the listener and you need your TNS names. So what they were trying to do was they were in Colorado and the server was in DC. So,
I see.
so what they were trying to do is they were trying to do SQL Plus with their username, Scott, I don't know, /Amber, whatever their username was, then at the database name, let's just say ORCL. Press enter. They couldn't get in. The reason why they couldn't get in was because they didn't have a listener or a TNS name. So when I went to my Oracle Home, network admin and I went LS, I did not see this guy and I did not see this guy. By the way, anything that sees that, you can remove this. Sorry, start back. That just means a change happened, right? So I did not see this guy and I did not see this guy. So I said, okay, that's an easy fix. So I just created a listener. It took me 2 seconds. I created TNS name, took me 2 seconds, and that was it. Once I did that, then I tested the connection, made sure that I was able to connect, and that was it. I made sure I was able to connect on the server itself using. I did something like SQL Plus. I don't know, Oracle / password, whatever, right? At the ORCL name, right? When I knew that, okay, I was able to connect via the TNS name, then I told her to try using her TNS names, right? When she did it, boom, everything connected. Now, to be even more specific, when I cap my TNS names, right? Her TNS names had to match my TNS name, or else it's not gonna work. See what I'm saying? They got to match. So I made sure that matched, but once that matched, it was good. She was good.
How do you create TNS again? What's the command?
Nah, it's just you go to netCA.
Netka? Okay.
Yeah, or you go to netCA. And you click on you go to
The 3 clicks you said.
yeah, the third one. You're either gonna click on listener configuration or you're gonna click on the you see it now. It should pop up. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so for listener, if I want to add a listener, okay, let me just add a listener, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna call this listener 2. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna click next. TCP is fine. Okay, the port I'm gonna use fine. Let's see if it'll allow us to use this port. Okay, I figured. We'll continue. No, let's use a different port. Okay, I'm just gonna use port 1522 next.
This thing is covered in week 5, no?
No,
Did I miss that?
no. This is covered in week 6.
6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm finishing.
Yeah. So anyway, so you click
video.
next. Yeah. So
Okay.
as far as TNS names, you just click on local net. Click on that. Let's say you want to add next service name. Let's just call it dog. Whatever your service name just means your database name. Hit next. TCP is fine. Okay. Your host name is your host name. Remember, guys, your host name. If you guys look right here.
New ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours is new way.
right here, right? Don't pay attention to mine. Yours should say new way 01 or whatever is Oracle whatever comes after the that's the server name, right? Mine just says PMY, but yours for all you guys it should say new way 01, right? Or whatever the server name is at your job, right? It's not always going to be new way 01. That's just what I called it. So you want to put that here, and I'm just going to put PMY. Hit next. No test, next. Then the next service name is going to be the same thing as the database name most of the time, 99% of the time. But you can make this anything you want to call it, right? It doesn't have to match, right? So sometimes if you want to hide what the true name of the database is, then you call it, you call it fish. So everybody thinks, so if hackers are trying to get in, they think that the name of your database is fish, but it's really dog. But for simplicity's sake, people just typically leave it at the database name. You hit next again. Would you like to configure another? I don't know. And then I'm just going to cancel, right? So I'll just hit no and then hit next. Then your TNS is done, right? So I'm just going to hit finish. So now when I do Claire and I cap my TNS names, the Aura. Let's see, we go back up here. You see dog? You see this new entry? The one I just did? Is it that?
Dog, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there, right? So now this, if I had a database called dog, which I don't, right? Then I would just do SQL plus, say HR/HR at dog. You see what I'm saying? Because this dog represents everything that is here. This is just an alias. This is the net service name, right? This dog is just what? An alias that represents everything here. So what is this saying? This is basically saying, okay, ultimately I'm trying to connect to a database called dog. Let's just assume we have a database called dog, right? I'm trying to get to a database called dog. Now, what protocol am I going to use? I'm going to use TCP. Now, what server is this dog database in? It's called what? The host, right? It's called PMI. Now, what port are we going to go through to get to this database dog? We're going to use the standard port 1521. That's it. That's all we're doing. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I missed it.
Yeah, this TNS is just an address, right? It's just an address that you're going to use to get to a database. It's an address, it's a route, right? And the reason for that is because people are all over the place. Most of the time at work, your database is not going to, 100% of the time, your database is not going to be by your, just sit, in your cubicle. For a multi-billion-dollar company, trust me, they're not going to put their database in your cubicle. No, they're going to put it in some remote location, in some storage facility with security, and you got to use locks to get in and all that good stuff, right? You can still access, you can still access it, but because it's remote, you got to use the TNS names and you got to use the listener. Now, what is the job of the listener? The point of the listener is simple. The point of the listener is simple, right? The point of the listener is to listen for communication to this database. What is the listening for? It's doing some verification checks initially. It's looking for, okay, you say you want to connect to dog. Cool. All right. First is gonna, when you do SQL plus, where are we at? SQL plus HR/HR when you do SQL plus HR/HR at dog, for instance, right? First is going to say, okay, do I have am I listening for a database called dog? Do I have a database that's registered to me that I'm listening for that's called dog? If the answer is yes, that's the first check. Now, then the second check is, and it does this thing in milliseconds, right? Then the second check is, okay, inside that database called dog, is there a user called HR? There is? Cool. That's the second check. Now the third check is, okay, is this user's password also HR? If that's a check, the listener is done. It'll pass you on to the TNS names or ORA file, and the TNS names or ORA file will then route you to the dog database through the TCP protocol using the port 1521. Done, right? So that's basically how this whole process works. But you guys have not had to worry about that, because for the longest, right? You guys have just been doing SQL plus /SysDBA. And typically at work, that's how you're going to connect to it, because when you get to work, right, on your machine, right, the first thing that you want to do is you want to install PuTTY. PuTTY is real simple. Like the server guy, he can help you install PuTTY, but it takes a few seconds to install PuTTY. What PuTTY allows you to do is to remote into the server. It allows you to remote into the server. You see what I'm saying? So once you're in the server, so when you put in your username, your password, now you're in the server, it's like you're back in class. Now you just do SQL plus /SysDBA. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
But most users will not have the privilege to PuTTY into the server. They can connect to the server, but they cannot remote into the server. Totally different things. Make sense?
Okay. I've just jotted it down.
Sure.
Anybody else have a question?
And by the way, guys, all the stuff is always on YouTube. Like I always I always record it and then I put it on YouTube. So if you guys miss anything, go back on the channel and just go back on YouTube and just rewatch it. No issues.
Sure.
What
Yeah,
else?
can I ask?
Sure.
Oh, so when we use NetCA to create a listener, why do we need NetMGR then?
Sure. Net Manager. That is what you're going to use to actually register the database with the listener. So you can create the listener, you can create your TNS names or a file, right? So when you come here, you go to listeners, you click on listener, whatever listener it is, right? Oh, I think you can't see it right here, right? So in here, you can't see it. There's another button for you guys, right? But anyway, this is where you would register your database with the listener. And all this is in the video, by the way, right? So let me come to service naming. Okay, let's come right. Yeah, like I'm not seeing the button right here because this is a VM, guys, so I can't see it. But anyway, so the way it works is you create a listener, fine, that takes 2 seconds. You create a TNS name to ORA file, fine, that takes 3 seconds, right? But then remember I told you, right? The listener listens for database connection requests. In order for that database to be registered with the listener, you got to use Net Manager. That's what's going to bind the database with the listener together so they can talk. So I can create like 100 databases and all I need is one listener, right? So anytime anybody's trying to connect to that database using Easy Connect or using the username and password, then that listener is now in charge. But if you just do SQL Plus /SysDBA, the listener ain't got nothing to do with it. Now you're just going to be using OS authentication, not Oracle authentication. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Sure.
Good questions, guys. What else you got? Mr. Mohammed, what you got? Tell me.
I'm gonna have to rephrase this questions. I think I wrote it too fast. The question is how is the ORCL, which is Oracle, in the different home? I'm not sure. I didn't quote anything, so that'll be confusing even for me.
And how is the what?
How is ORCL in the different home? I caught that in one of the videos because I was just rewatching it.
How is ORCL in a different home?
I think it's an Oracle. I think it's Oracle in a different home. Skip that, Jason. I don't want to waste your time. When it comes around, I'll ask you again.
Okay.
Number 4. When you said well, you were explaining it. CD Oracle _home/DBS. How does it look on Windows? So all this we're doing it on Linux.
Real simple. Same way. You just this, but when it comes to Oracle, see. Clear. You guys see my screen, right? Okay, so now LS. So now if I go, let me just go there. CD Oracle home /DBS, right? On Windows, it's not going to be DBS, it's going to be database. That's the difference. But you're not going to be doing CD and all that, right? You're going to have to be clicking. Click, right? So in in your Windows, you're going to have to click on app. You're going to have to click on Oracles. You're going to have to click on product.
Oh, okay.
Click on 12, yeah. You're going to click on that. Then you're going to click on database. Then you're there. Cool. All right. You got it?
Got it. What are the like when we get our first job? When you get for your first job, your first shot, was it a Linux or Windows?
Always Linux.
Oh, it's Linux.
Always Linux. It's going to be rare for you to find a job where the operating system is Windows. To be fair, that's rare. That's pretty rare. Like I haven't seen too many. I've seen it once, but not often. It's typically Red Hat Linux or AIX or Unix or some flavor of Unix.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions? I got one more.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm split into 2.
Go ahead, answer.
Okay. just in short, well, I know you have it in the video. What? Just two questions. What's the purpose of table space and indexes?
Cool. Yeah, then. So let's talk about indexes, right? Okay. If I gave you a book,
Mhm.
if I gave you a book,
Ah,
you got it now, right? Do I have to say anything else?
it's in the back of it, so it tells me who's, where. Okay.
Exactly. All right. So if I'm looking for a specific word, I'm looking for a specific word, right? I got to go through all the pages to find the word. That's going to take a while.
Mhm.
But it's the same process that the database is also going to have to do. That's what we call a full table scan.
Mhm.
So a table has quote unquote pages. It's going to have to do a full table scan on each. But it'll do faster than a human being, sure, but it's still slow compared to how fast it could be. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's going to also consume a lot of resources. Versus if I had an index in place, now we're looking at an index range scan, or just it's going to use an index to find that word. So it doesn't even do a full table scan. It just goes straight to the index because like all the words would be, okay, I'll give you an example, right? So let's say we had a book that say, I don't know, 500 pages. It's got all kinds of, like a dictionary, whatever, right? Got all kinds of words on there, whatever. What the index does is it's a different table that's created inside the database. So you have your table with all these different words. But now with the index, it's a different table that's created, right? But now it arranges all these tables, so all these words alphabetically. So now if you're looking for, so now let's say A is on page 1, B is on page 2, Z is on page 500, right? So if you're looking for a word called Ziegler, right? It's not even going to look at. It's not going to look at the first 499 pages. It's going to go straight to Z and go straight to ZI. Boom. So it's not only going to break it up into Z, then it'll break it up into ZA, ZE, ZO, blah blah. It won't even look at ZA through Z, whatever. It's going to go pinpoint to the exact. It's going to save it so much time. So it's just like looking at the back of a book. I'm looking for a word. Oh, okay. Where's this word? I go straight to the back of the book. Oh, it's on page 499. Boom. I go to done. Versus I don't have an index. Now I got to go through each page and look for that word. Come on. You'll be there for years. It's not gonna make sense.
Actually, got it.
Make sense?
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah.
What is a table space? A table space is simply a space for tables. Listen, you guys got to get this right. And guys, you guys that are brand new, it's fine. If you're brand new, these guys are advanced. They're they're weeks ahead of you. So don't get discouraged at all. Like, it's, you guys will get it. Now, a table space, like all data goes in at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, all data goes inside of a table, period. Data goes inside of a table, period. The whole point of you having a database is tables. You got to put data inside tables. Data goes inside tables. Now, these tables have to go inside specific table spaces, right? Now, if we're going to keep it 100, right? But really, right? A table space, these are just fancy words for human beings to be able to understand data file. Okay, so
I see.
So a server, right? Look, the whole point of a server is to store data. That's it. You buy a computer, the whole point of it is you want to put stuff on it, which is data. Whether it's a file, you want to do gaming, you want to, whatever it is, right? You needed to store some data. Folders, all that, whatever, right? Cool. What's the server? At the end of the day, all that information is going to go on the server, the machine itself. Is everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Data is going to go on the machine. Now, cool. This things that you type, right? To a human being, right? We see it as words, right? A, B, C, all that good stuff. But to a computer, it's binary stuff, zeros and ones. This binary stuff, right, has to be put on a disk on the server. It has to be stored there. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Now, this disk, right, at the end of the day is what we call the data file. The data files go on the disk. So that could be your C drive. In Linux, that's your mount point, stuff like that, right? The data file actually goes on disk. Are you with me so far?
We are.
Now,
I am.
watch
Yes.
this. So all the stuff that you store, right? Now, this, at the end of the day, goes where, bottom line, on disk, but it's on the data file that's on the disk. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now, watch this. For it to be able to make sense to us as human beings, they now created something called tables and table spaces. A table space and a data file are synonymous, basically twins. A table space is just a logical name for a data file. That's it. Let me give you guys an example, right? So when I do select name from $, data file. You guys see that, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I do select name from $, table space. You guys see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so now, actually, let me do something. Let me describe square.
Table space.
Square. Let me describe $, data file. I think table spaces would be here. Table space. No. Describe DBA table spaces. I just want to show you guys side by side. Oh, sorry. Describe DBA data. DBA data. Files. Okay, this should do it. Okay, file name, table space name. Okay. So now when I do select file name, table space name from DBA data files, call file name for a, let's give it 30. Sorry, call table space name for a 10. Call file name for a 50. Better. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to format it. Call file name a 60. Yeah, it's just way too big, dude. All right, so let's see. All right, so watch this, guys. Guys, do you see that this is the data file name?
Yeah.
This long name, this is the data file that is on the server. This long name, that's a name, right? This whole name /app, and this is the location /app /Oracle /Oradata /Oracle data file /01 blah blah blah. This is the actual name right here. .dbf. This is the actual name of the first data file, right? The second data file, the third data file, the fourth data file, right? And there's
Right.
fifth data file, so on and so forth, right? Now, underneath this is the name of the table space name. Now, you tell me, you see system, sysaux,
User and DTBS. Okay.
users, and so on and so forth, right? Okay. Now, which one is easier for me to say? dude, users or this whole damn thing. Come on, is users, right?
Users.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So the users table space. The table space name is just a synonym for the data file location or name. Make sense?
okay.
Just so that it can make sense to us users. Yeah, I'm not going to say, dude, take me to slash apps. Come on, I ain't got time for that. Just take me to users. You guys see that?
So it's a table space to store a data file.
So, no, table space and data file are the same. They're the same thing, same exact thing. It's just that the table space is just the name, an easier name for data file. Now, the tables, they must go inside of a table space. Does that make sense?
Okay, gotcha.
So when you create a table, so when I do create table, John 1, okay, ID, number, okay, right? This is going into the user's table space by default, which is this guy. Any table you create goes into the user's table space, unless you specifically say, no, I want it to go to a different table space. Hold on. So if I do John 2, ID number, okay, and then table space, then I'll do, I don't know, is it Joe? Do I have Joe? I thought I had a Joe table space. Yeah, Joe, right? Enter.
And that goes there.
Yeah, so now it goes here. See what I'm saying? But when you create a table, it has to go into a table space. And that table space, what we're really saying is now on disk, which is the data file that's on disk. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
Right.
Much better.
Cool.
Gotcha.
All right.
You're missing one though. You're missing a temp table space.
You saw what?
I said you look like you're missing a temp table space.
No, there's no temp table space. Wow.
Oh, it's not temp. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh.
There's a temp table space, right? There is. But the temp table space does not have a data file. It has a
Okay.
file. Temp.
Yeah.
Temp file. You see,
It's a logical
PDF
structure.
means database file.
Okay.
But a temp table space has a temp file, a temporary file. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's why you don't see it here.
Yeah.
Cool. What
Because
else
it's
you got?
not physically on the disk. It's not on the disk physically.
No, it is. It's on this, but because look, see, what did I describe? I described DBA underscore.
DBA data files.
Yes, you see what I'm saying, right? But it's not a data file, it's a temp file. It's a temporary file that I use for sorting. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yeah. So that's it.
So it's logical, it's not. What am I saying? I don't know.
No, don't worry about
Okay.
it. Don't worry about it. It's just that I
Yeah.
didn't query for it, right? But I just wanted to see the data files. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
I'm okay for now. Listen, let me rephrase a couple of questions
Okay.
for next week, I guess.
No problem.
Thank you, Chief.
All right. What else
Back
you
to
got,
week
guys?
6.
What else you got? Who else?
So can I ask something about index?
Sure.
So how does an SQL, like a structured query language, knows how to use index? If I said select name from VDollar database,
Sure.
and sorry, maybe that's not the SQL, but how does it? Do we have to specify like an index syntax, or it doesn't matter?
Yes and no. Sometimes you can use hints. There's something called hints. You can use hints to let the what do you call it, the what's the name of this tool? Anyway, it'll come to me. Anyway, you can use hints to let the DB know that, okay, yes, I want you to use this index. But if you don't want to use hints, right? So long as there's an index on the column.
Okay.
So long as, let me give an example, right? So I don't know. Select star from, do I have Scott's.emp. Stuff. I don't even know what tables I have. I don't know.
HR.
Okay.
HR is up.
So if I just do create, look, if I do create table, pen, ID, number, name, wildcard 2, 10. Okay, so now when I do create index, pen, underscore IDX, you can call this whatever you want to call it, IDX on pen, then what? What column? ID. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So now the index is created. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I do select star from, if I do select name from pen, it's not going to work because I did not put an index on this column. It's not going to work.
Oh, okay.
You put it on the number, on the ID. I'm
On
sorry.
the ID. Yeah.
I created the index on the ID column. So what you're doing is when you create an index, what you're doing is you're saying this. So let's say this table grows big, right? And now this table is huge. It has like 1 million rows. What you're saying is, dude, this ID column, what I want you to do is I want you to help me organize it in ascending order.
Okay.
Right? Organize it. So it's going to create another table. It's going to create another physical table on disk. So anybody that does now when anybody does select ID from pen, right? Where let's say ID in, let's say 458 972 or whatever and 5, whatever, right? So now if there was no index on this table, on this ID column, right? It'd have to do a full table scan, right? And we're talking about 1 billion rows. Let's say 1 million rows, whatever, right? It'll first have to look for 5. Then I have to look for this. Then I have to look for that. They have to do a full table scan.
Okay.
Versus if I had an index already, right? If the index is created, now it's going to go to the other index table. Then it's going to have pointers. An index comes with pointers, right? So now it's just going to go, 5 is just going to find it because everything is already arranged alphabetically and also or numerically, whatever it is, right? And also what you guys also need to understand is this. If I just did select ID from pen, where ID in 458 bar, right? A table is typically in heap formation. What does that mean? It means the database itself, the table itself is scattered. All the information is scattered all over the place. So it does it quickly because it's a computer, but it's still going to take some time, longer than it should, and consume extra resources because things are not organized. You see what I'm saying? But if you had an index, okay, now things are organized and makes things faster. Like I'm talking about milliseconds faster. So what it would take this, let's say this is a table that had 1 million rows. When I did semicolon and press enter, it could take about 5 seconds to give you back your information. But with the index, you could take it a millisecond, and that's tremendous performance. Tremendous. So an index is absolutely necessary, but you got to use it in the right syntax. So I created an index on ID, cool. But if I do a select name from pen, it's not going to use the index.
Okay.
But if I did select ID, name from pen, it will use the index. But if I did select name, ID from pen, it's not going to use the index. It's got to be in order. So the leading, there's something called the leading indicator, right? The leading, right? You got to do it in the right way. So if you put an index on ID and you're looking for ID and name, then you got to put ID first, comma, name, not name, comma, ID, or else it's not going to work.
ID
Index
comma
column
name.
first.
Yeah, you got to use the leading column first. Yes, that's correct.
Might get this again.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. I am all
Thanks
good.
so much.
No
Back
problem.
to week 6. I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you, Prof.
problem. No problem.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody else have any questions? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, did you give me the, I mean, I keep running into these access issues. I know I've had kind of, issues that were personal.
No, Mr. Moses, you're good. You're fine.
Okay,
Yeah, if
all
you
right.
check, yeah, you're fine.
Thanks.
You're all set. Yes, sir.
Oh, great,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Anybody else have any questions? Going once, going twice. Are you sure? Hey, that's fine with me. Guys, listen. You guys, you gotta do your homework. You gotta do your homework. Make sure you're doing your homework steady, consistent, right? Don't play with these homework assignments. These homework assignments are the real deal, right? So make sure you get it done. Get your homework done. Do it steady, consistent. Knowledge acquisition is a painful process, but once you got it, you got it. Guys, you see me? I didn't look at any book. I'm just freelancing it, just doing it, right? But guys, get it done. Do your homework. If you guys have any questions, post it in the group. And if I don't answer it, I'm expecting one of you guys to answer it so you guys can learn from each other. But if not, then I'll answer it. But if you guys just want to build up all your questions and wait till Thursday to ask me one-on-one personally, that's fine too. Like, I'll answer all your questions. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right, guys. So if you have no more questions, I got no more answers. So guys, do your homework and Mr. Atkins, please make sure you get your laptop.
Oh yeah, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah. Go to your laptop. All right. So you can start work. All right. So if you guys don't have any questions, Mr. Edmore, you're good, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you have any more questions, then I will see you guys next Thursdays. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Guys. All right, guys. All right.
So did you find the email?